C, number 2. C, number 3. B, number 4. What? B. First page out of 4. Any questions? No? Lovely. Second page. Which of these statements is true? Wow, we're all over the map. D. Do I need to explain why? Obviously, because everybody has given me different answers. 3x minus 4y equals 12. So, when y drops out, 3x equals 12, x equals 4. When x drops out, negative 4y equals 12, y equals negative 3. D. 6. I hear 3 B's, 4 B's, 5 B's. It's a veritable hive. 5 B's, it's a hive. Bzzz. Is B correct? I think so. I haven't done the math. Let's just check. Y minus 6 equals negative 3. X plus 4. Negative 3 plus 4 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. It's not B. It's y equals negative 3x minus 12 plus 6. It's y equals negative 3x minus 6, which is A. Well, well, well. I guess all those B's should go back to the hive. Perpendicular lines. Which is it? D. Which is it? A or B? B. And number 9 is D. That page is out of 5, I believe. What should you be doing if you don't have my answer? Asking. Number 10. C. That's out of 1. Number 11. C. This one. That's not the order which we are comfortable with, is it? But is y still isolated? So what's the y-intercept? 1. What's the slope? Negative 1. So down 1, right 1. So the x-intercept equals 1. The y-intercept equals 1. And when you graph the line, it's that. 2 marks. Making that page out of 3, since all you people care about in my class is French. Put that in that form, which means isolate y. 2y equals negative 3x plus 4. Y equals negative 3 halves x plus 2. 1 mark because you learned how to do algebra when you were 12. X minus 8 equals 4y. 1/4 x minus 2 equals y. Alrighty. A. What is the slope? 3/2. That gets you half a mark because all you had to do was count. Explain it. What does the slope mean? It is no longer the noise of bees, it is the sound of crickets. What is it, Hazel? What's the slope mean? Was it you that was just speaking when I made my joke about crickets? Oh, I thought it was you. Levi. It's her speed. Okay, so what does that mean? Uh-huh. So? Right. So, tell me what it means. She's moving what? That's how we give speeds? That would be a pain in the ass to read that speed on the highway. There you go. She is moving 1.5 meters per second. Where? Where is she moving? Thank you. Further from the camera. Or away. So you need something about speed to get your other half mark there. B. Oh, not B yet. The Y or the D intercept equals what? 2 meters. What does it mean? Right. How far she is away at the beginning, or time 0, or anything like that. So a half and a half, making A worth 2 marks. B, write an equation that describes her walk. Now, all of you should recognize that that looks very similar to something else, doesn't it? Y equals mx plus b. So, what is it? D equals 3/2 t plus 2 for 1 mark. C, when she is 6 meters from the sensor. Could you find this out on the graph? Yes, you could go up to 6 and you would go down. And what would you tell me the answer is? You would say 2.5-ish. Is that right? Sure, it's okay. Is it right? No, because you would do it algebraically. Because D is 6 equals 3/2t plus 2. 4 equals 3/2t. 8 equals 3t. T equals 8/3, which is 2 2/3, which is, because you guys are scared of fractions, 2.67 meters, which is 2 2/3, which is bigger than 2.5 seconds. Sorry, yeah, seconds. For 1 mark, making that whole question out of 4, making that whole page out of 6. And the very last question. What do you see there and there? 2 years. Those are your X's. Why? Because that's the time, and time is the independent variable. Was I alive from 1990 to 2010? Was I a girl playing hockey? No. So there's my X's. Where are my Y's? Number of girls playing hockey. So let's write an equation in point-slope form. Point-slope form, A is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. But we're not using y and x, we're using number of girls and t for years. So this becomes n minus n1 equals m t minus t1. N minus, what's the number we know? 45,400 equals, what's my slope? 4,162. It is not a phone number. It is not 4162. It is 4,162. T minus what? Which is it? People are all over the map again. 2,000, because that's the point I know, because in the year 2000, 45,000 girls were playing hockey. Now, read the rest of this question. Years after 1990. If you've written this, you're okay, but you should write it differently, shouldn't you? What should this number be in the formula? 10, right? Because it's 10 years after 1990. But this will work too. So that gets you 2 marks, because that was a bit hard to do. Now I'm going to use the equation to estimate the girls playing hockey in 2009. Well, n minus 45,400 equals 4,162 times, what's the t I am working with? 2009 minus 2,000. So n minus 45,400 equals 4,162 times 9. N minus 45,400 equals something like 37,000. I can't remember this. I can't do this that quickly in my head. It's 3,600, it's 41,620 minus 4,162. So it's 37,500 and a bit. 37,458. Okay. This comes over here and becomes what? Positive to get 82,858 for 2 marks. 4. Giving you, is that it? Yeah. 4 and 6 is 10, and 3 is 13, and 1 is 14, and 5 is 19, and 4 is 23. Did I take marks from you yesterday? Did I walk around? Okay. We'll see what happens today. All right, listen up. Tomorrow, I lie. We move on to the next thing. Now, for you people, the next thing is not a unit, even though it's got unit status, for lack of a better word. It starts on page 264. You already know how to do it. So, what will happen is we will right now spend the rest of this block just talking about it. It will be good practice for your test, which is on what day? Tuesday. And the assignment that goes with this, you will start it today if we have time. If not, you will start it tonight. If you get time today, we will be marking it at the beginning of tomorrow. If you do not get time today, we will be marking it at the end of tomorrow. Clear? All right. Let's go. For the most part, we are now eschewing, which is a $5 word for saying we're not going to do it anymore. We are going to eschew graphing for the most part and work exclusively with algebra. Why? Because algebra always gives us the right answer. Graphing doesn't always give us the right answer. So, let us begin on page 264. There are 4 forms of writing linear functions. Give me one of them. Slope-intercept. Which you already know is y equals mx plus b. How do you know you're in slope-intercept form? What are some of the features? y isolated. If y is isolated, we're good. Then m, whatever it is slope. Now, what if I don't have y and x? What does the y and the x become? iv and dv, right? Like in the d and t equation. And C, B is the y-intercept. Now, the problem with this is you all forget that B, yes, it's the y-intercept, but it's also a point on the graph, isn't it? And that point is B, 0, which is an x. Sorry, I lie. It's 0, B. 0, B, which is an x and a y, which could then go back into this equation. Or into the same equation in what form? Point-slope form. Or general form. Or standard form, because it's an x and a y. Right? Okay. Next form. I should have written the words. Point-slope. Or slope point. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. And what do we know about these? What do we know? x1, y1 is known. But there's a warning. What's the warning? What do we have to remember? They're opposite. They're the known points. B, M is still slope. Right? And X and Y can be any other point. So if I told you 6, 3 was known, where would that go? That would go in here and here, yes? Because those are known. If I gave you another one, 3, just wait. If I gave you another one, where would those go? Where would these two go? 7 would go to this y, and 3 would go to that x. The point you know at the beginning is x1, y1. If you get a second point, it's x and y. Or you can reverse them, right? I could start with 3, 7, and 6/3. Now, if I have 2 points, does that allow me to find slope in point-slope form? If I have these 4 numbers, can I use that to find slope right here instead of doing the extra thing? Yes. Because that extra thing, you will notice, what would get m isolated? Dividing by x minus x, which would put it over here, yes? All right. And the third form. I'm running out of room. So I'm going to put them together. Not GNU form. General and standard. I'm going to put them together because they're almost the same thing. ax minus plus by plus c equals 0, or ax plus by plus equals c. Now, what do we have to remember about these forms? A is what? Positive. And B, no what? Fractions. Now, here's a mistake you all will make often. Where does 3, 7 go in this equation? No. Because 3, 7 are what? X and Y, so they go for X and Y. Now, the reason I did this was because if I wrote you this, 3A plus 7B plus C equals 0, could you graph that? No, because these are the X and Y, right? Now, the next thing, if I told you this, 3X plus 7Y, is that point going to work here? I took that 3 and I 7 and I put them in for A and B, like Jesse said. No, it won't graph, will it? Because the 3 and the 7 are X's and Y's. This is really only useful for a starting point to go further, right? Or to use for X and Y intercepts. Cool? All right, start with an easy one that you can all do in your sleep. Read number 1. Does number 1 tell you what I want to see? No. So I have how many options to write there? I can do any one of the 4. Which is the one I should do? Why should I do slope-intercept? Because I've been given a slope and an intercept. So, y equals 5x minus plus 4. Is that right? Is that a linear function that has that? Can I say it is the linear function that has that? It is the only linear function that will go through 4 with a slope of 5? No, of course not, because there's 4 versions of that function, right? There's actually infinite versions of that function because we could multiply it out and get the same thing, wouldn't we? So this is an answer. It is not the answer. Everybody with me? Okay, let's find all of the answers. First one is standard form. AX plus BY equals C. So what do I got to do? What do I got to do to make that look like that?
Please excuse this announcement. Could those students going to Bardon Beach please meet down at the main entrance? The students going to Bardon
See, if I were doing that example or that announcement, I would have done it.
For those students that have registered BYOD devices, please come to the library at some time during the day today to re-register your device. Your device is not required. Thank you.
So as I was saying, if I were doing that announcement, I totally would have done it in iambic pentameter and in Shakespearean dialect. Yeah, but that would have been funny. What? Okay, give me a second. Okay. Forsooth, students who want to go to... Oh, I needed a different syllable there. Yeah, of course it's a lot of work, but that's what makes it funny. You think the stand-up comedian that gets up there is just talking? What? He doesn't get up there with a microphone for an hour and a half and just talk. He has it written out. He writes his routine. Or she. to be fair. So as I was saying, no, because it's a lot of work. Not so much work to find Shakespearean words and syntax, but to cram it into iambic pentameter. Do you guys even know what iambic pentameter is? Okay, just making sure. An iamb is a unstressed followed by a stressed syllable. Okay? So, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks. 'Tis the east, and Juliet is the, I can't remember the exact line, is the sun. I don't know a lot of Romeo and Juliet because I hate it. I'm more of a Macbeth man. Because Romeo and Juliet's a bunch of whiny teenagers. What do I spend my whole day with?
So you don't read Romeo and Juliet to understand your audience better?
What? I know your audience. I know my audience. I've been working with you for 20 years. You guys all think you've changed so much. You haven't. The difference between 20 years ago and now is instead of all of you grabbing Pokemon cards, you're grabbing your phones. That's the only difference between a grade 9 from 1998 and a grade 9 from 2018. And Macbeth just kicks serious ass. What isn't to kick ass in Macbeth? Ghosts, murder, guilt, infidelity. As I say, I am awash in teen angst. And I've seen that poster too. And to be fair, the teen angst plays much more heavily in Hamlet. Because at least Hamlet did have something to be really worried about.
Wait, which one's the one where the son kills the dad or something?
Hamlet does not kill his dad. Hamlet's uncles kills his dad.
Yeah, that's Hamlet. What's Macbeth then?
Macbeth is where Macbeth is killing all kinds of people because his wife wants him to. Kind of like that line in Pulp Fiction. I'm a vegetarian, or my girlfriend's a vegetarian, so that pretty much makes me a vegetarian. Well, in Macbeth, my girlfriend wants to be queen, so that pretty much means I got to kill everybody to get there. Hamlet is the Lion King.
He said this.
Yes, I've said this story. Hamlet, the Lion King is Hamlet. Yes, that's a news question. Yes. Walt Disney, living in Los Angeles in 1603, thought up the Lion King. Yes.
Oh boy.
Once again, how do I make this one look like this one? I move the y to get 5x minus y plus 4 equals 0, and then what? I move the 4. Negative 4 equals 5x minus y. General form, 5x minus y plus 4 equals 0. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, what am I going to do for number 3? Remember, is there the equation? No. There is an equation. And what of our 4 options should I use here? Point slope. What would it be? Abso-smurfly correct. Transfer that equation to the top of the next page because we're going to work with it. An equation or the equation? An equation. 3 more options right here. Now, like I said, we've already done this. How do I turn this into standard form? What has to disappear? The fraction and the fraction and the brackets. Now, again, If you have not been paying attention to the last 5 years of math, and you have just been memorizing steps to do, what do I do now? This. What do I do now? This. What do I do now? This. If your math plan is this, make a choice, make a choice, make a choice, back up here. If that is how you do math, then you are going to find this particular job complicated, because most of you are going to distribute that 2/3 to get rid of the brackets. I've already done this for you once and given you this lecture once. Why would you distribute a fraction? Get rid of it. How do you get rid of divided by 3? Multiply both sides by 3. Now, when you do that, a great many of you will say to me, but doesn't that 3 need to distribute into this x minus 6? Again, if you have just been memorizing steps, you would do that. But you don't memorize steps, you understand math. And what do the brackets mean? What do this set of brackets mean? Pardon me? There's an operation inside, and this is one value. So what this really is 2/3 times a single value. Let's call it Q. And then we're multiplying that by 3. Where does that 3 go? Only to there. So you do not need to distribute it in here. So the 3's will cancel, leaving me with 2x minus 6, which is 2x minus 12. Once that 3 is here, though, it has to come over here to get 3y plus 6. And then we do our math. What moves? For standard form, we are isolating the constant. But we are isolating the constant in such a way that x stays positive. Is x positive right now? So we have to isolate the constants away from the x. So this is going to come over here and be plus 12, and this is going to come over here and be negative 3y. 18 equals 2x minus 3y. Then I automatically have general form, because it is 2x minus 3y minus 18 equals 0. Please notice what I am about to show you. What point do you know is on this line? No. 6, negative 2. Right? We know that's on the line, don't we? Okay. That 6 is an x, is it not? That negative 2 is a y, is it not? What do you see there? X. 2 times 6. Minus. What do you see there? Negative 2 minus 18. What is 2 times 6? 12. What is negative 3 times negative 2? Plus 6 minus 18. Does 12 plus 6 minus 18 equal 0? Yes. So you can see that even though they look radically different, the x's and the y's still work, no matter what. Everybody understand? That is the key here. Let me give you another example. This is rise over run, correct? So up to, what is up to from negative 2? 0. What is a run of 3? What is 3 to the right of 6? 9. So this point would also be on this line, wouldn't it? What is 2 times 9? 18. Minus 3 times 0. 18. 18 minus 18 is 0. The x and the y works again. Does everybody understand? Excellent. And now finally slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, we have to get to here. How is that different from where we are starting? Y plus 2, 2/3 x minus 6. What's different? The y is isolated. So what should I do with that 2? Y equals 2/3 x minus 6 plus 2. Now what? You could distribute this in, yes? Then we're distributing a fraction. Do we like that? No. Most of you will take the point slope form and try to move it to here. Do you have to? No, of course not, because don't we know that this is 2x minus 3y equals 18? So couldn't we just isolate the y here? Because isn't this the same as that? So negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 18. Y equals 2/3 x minus 6. Now, if you wanted to distribute, it's no problem. Right? Because 2/3 x, 6 times 2/3 is 12/3, which is 4, isn't it? So we'd be in business. Oh, sorry, this was minus 2, wasn't it? Once we moved it over. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. Please notice that all of these things are the same thing. No matter what it's called, no matter how it's written, they are all the same thing. So there is never a need to not know what you are doing, because it is all x's and y's. Or independent variable, dependent variable. Right? Just like Pythagoras. If I call those three sides Q, P, and R, it's still Pythagoras. If I label the hypotenuse B, it's still Pythagoras. Right? What are we doing here? Give me one option I could use. I could go to point slope form right away, couldn't I? Right away, or do I have to do something else? I got to find a slope first. Okay, so let's do what Anu suggests. Let's find our slope. What's our slope? 4 minus 5 over negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 1 over negative 3, which is 1/3. Yes? Could I use point slope form to find this? Could I have done this? 4 minus 5 equals m 1 plus 2. Could I have done, oh, sorry, not m plus 2. Sorry, not 1 plus 2. Negative 2 minus 1, because I got to keep the order the same, right? Could I have done that? I would have gotten the same thing, yes? Okay. Now I know my slope. So what do I want to do? Do I stick with point slope form? If I stick with point slope form, how many different versions of this equation can I write right now? 2. Why? Because I have 2 known points, correct? I want slope-intercept form, though, don't I? So couldn't I go straight to slope-intercept form? Y equals mx plus b. Don't I know m? What is it? 1/3 x plus b. What's that? That's a y. How many y's do I have? 2 that could go there. What's that? x. How many x's do I have? 2 that could go there. So if I put a y and an x in there right now, do I automatically know b? So I'm going to do that because that's an easier way to do it. If you are memorizing steps, I started with point slope form, I'm finishing with point slope form. Is that okay? Of course it is. What are you going to put here if you went this route? Okay, if you put 4 there, what are you putting here? -2. Right? So then I have 4 equals -2/3 plus b. What do I need isolated? So I bring that over, and what do I get? Four and 2/3 equals b. Because 4 plus 2/3 is 4 and 2/3, isn't it? So what's my answer? Y equals 1/3 x plus 4 and 2/3. How many other ways could I write that? Could I write 14/3? Yes. Should I write 2.67? Or, sorry, 4.67. I could, but would it make your math teachers happy? No. Everybody good? Okay, you have 1 second to read number 6 and 1 second to tell me the form you're going to use. Go. Time's up. What are we using? Slope-intercept form. Excellent. So, what would it be? Y equals mx plus b. What's going where? Shh, I know. Don't give me away anew. What's going where? Y equals what? 5/3 x plus what? 2, but it's not, is it? Because what does that say? Wah, wah, wah. Sad trombone. Because again, you're looking for quick, yeah? So since that's the x-intercept, what is it really? 2, 0, which means it's a point, yes? So I have 2 options. Option 1, y equals mx plus b. Y equals 5/3 x plus b. What goes in for x and y now? 2 goes for x, 0 goes for y, correct? Or y minus y equals mx minus x. Y minus 0 is what? Y equals 5/3 x minus 2. And then if I get rid of the brackets, am I in slope-intercept form? Or am I already done right there? That's an equation. Is it in one of our recognized forms? Yeah, because that's point-slope form, isn't it? Because y minus 0 is just y. Could I stop there? Yes. Could I finish this up? Yes, and I would find that b was 10/3 or 3 1/3. Everybody cool? Read the question. You always get the answer because everything is an x and a y. Uh-oh. What do we do in number 7? What's the big hint word in number 7? Parallel, which means if I know a slope, do I automatically know the other slope? Why? Because it's the same. How do I get slope out of that? Isolate y. Do I care about the 7? Nope. 2x equals, 4y equals -2x. Y equals Negative 1/2 x. What's my slope? Negative 1/2. Now I have an m. What do I have here? What's that? Coordinates, x, y, or a point. So what do I use? I use point slope. Y what? Minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. And I'm done. Since I don't tell you what equation to use, you can use whatever one you want. If I do force you, then what do? Change it after you get to the one you can get to. What's happening in 8? Is it the exact same thing? So what do I do to that slope that I know? Opposite and reciprocate it. Do my methods change? No, my answer changes. What is the first thing I should find? Slope. What is it? What's the slope here? Pardon me? 1/8? Negative 1/8. What's the slope I need to be perpendicular? Positive 8/1. Would I write it that way? Just 8. And now, do I have a slope? Do I have a point? So what's it going to be? Yeah, what's it going to be? Huh? No. Perpendicular. 8 x minus 3. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, I know I said we were going to eschew graphing, but we're not quite, because I want to make sure we're working backwards. What would I use for A? General form, point slope form, slope intercept form. Slope intercept. Okay. What is the y-intercept there? Please tell me exactly. It's kind of tough, yeah? So what should I use? I should use point slope, shouldn't I? Because this line A is made up of an infinite amount of what? Points. Are there any points on line A that you can find reliably accurately? I'll do the mountain song from Price is Right again. I don't have another octave, people. You already should have told me to stop. I only have one octave. I can't sing. I'll go back to the beginning and start lower. Hey! So, back to business. Can I find the slope now? By going where? Again, this is a long stretch. I don't have the octaves to get there. So we're going up to there, yeah? Could you go there? All right, we'll go there. Even though your math teacher told you you're best to pick points as far apart as possible, you would still go to that one? Whatever. What's the slope? 1/4. Bracket. Can I use that point right there? What is it? x what? Negative 2 plus 2. And what's on the other side? Y minus 3. What if I use that point? What would it be? Y minus 4 equals, you forgot the slope, 1/4 x minus 2. Both would be right. Who decides? You do. All right, what are we doing for B? What should we use? Point slope. Where are they? I'm going down this time so I can start high and work down. I can do that. Oh, I even put a dot there for you on that one. Now I'll start down here because it's short. And what's the slope? 3/2. Can I use that point? Negative 3/2. Can I use that point? Which would be what? X plus 4 equals y plus 1. Or, if I use that point, y plus 4 negative 3/2 x plus 2. Yeah? Okay, what's C? You shouldn't even have to think about it. C, undefined. So what's the equation? X equals 5. Why? What's the x value there? What's the x value there? What's the x value there? X value there. X value there. X value there. X value there. 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 Way up here. What about there? What about on Jordan's head? What would the x value be? Why do you think I'm aiming? Why did I choose Jordan? Obviously, it's lined up. So what's the x value? So x is always 5. What's D? Y equals what? 9. Why? Because the y value is always 9. What if x is 372,827.653? Y is still 9. What if x is pi? Yeah, go. Oh, I just assumed you were getting up to leave. And lastly, we'll throw you guys an easy one to finish it off. What's E? Slope intercept. What's the slope? I go up 1, 2, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So y equals 2/7 x minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah? Yeah. Now, Tricky McTrickleton. What's weird about 10? There's a K. I want to find K. Well, whenever a math teacher says, determine the value of K, find X, what should you do? You should do that gag that all math teachers show, and then they use that to show how intelligent the kid was that actually did that gag for the first time. But of course he isn't, and we're only saying that so we don't hurt that poor kid's feelings. What should we do? isolate k. Now, here's k. So if I move it over there, doesn't 3x plus 2y give me k? Great. So x and y. So if I know an x and y, do I automatically know k? Great. Go. I want to hear 4 numbers for k. I lie. 5 numbers, 6 numbers for k, and I want to hear them in 6 numbers. I'm going to divide by, I think, 5 seconds in 30 seconds. Ready? Set. Go. "15 seconds. You should be on C. "20 seconds. You should be on E. Time's up. Tell me the numbers. 9, 9, and -6, and -6, and 14, and 4, and -6. Well done. Everybody good? All right. Listen, please. It is almost lunchtime. Your job is... You're seeing the first 2 answers. Did you guys get this cool font at least? Fontdiner.com sparkly? Spectacular. When is this due? You're obviously not getting any time right now, so we will be marking it tomorrow. But not right at the beginning of class. Lee?
Me and Sharma are gonna go shoot up for YouTube videos for this upcoming Holly and Nick.
You do what you have to do. Okay. You do what you have to do. A double one? Okay.